BIONICLE, Mask of Light. Written by C.A. Hopka. Recording by Girgis Archfiend. Chapter 5. The Herald. Jollar staggered backward, briefly blinded by the beam glaring right into his face. The crowd was murmuring in amazement. Taragavakama stepped forward, his eyes filled with awe. "Come," he said, reaching for the mask. "We must take this to the Suva immediately." A few minutes later, most of the crowd was gathered around the Suva, a small, dome-like shrine in the center of the village. Nokama, the Turaga of Gakoro, was chanting under her breath as she stretched her hands toward the floating mask. Mapaku una kanoki wenua hakita a kilahi, hanohi rahun ak toanak, panokita makuta taki ona ku, she mumbled. "What's she doing?" Jala whispered. "Translating?" Takua guessed. Finally, Nokama reached up and pulled the mask out of the air. "This is the great Kanohi Mask of Light," she said solemnly. "A mask to be worn only by the Seventh TOA, the Toa of Light." The onlookers gasped. "A Seventh TOA?" Turagavakama stepped forward. "Legends foretell the coming of a Seventh TOA, who would bring light to the shadows and awaken Mata Nui." Tahu leapt down from his perch on the nearby village wall. "What are we waiting for?" he cried. "We should prepare for this Toa's arrival. When will it be, and where?" Turaga Onewa shook his head. "Ah, this Toa will not simply appear as you and the others did," he said. "The Seventh Toa must be found." The crowd murmured in amazement. The original 6 Toa had not needed finding. They had appeared suddenly on the island just when the Matoran needed them most. "The Mask of Light chose who would find it," Nokama said. "Perhaps it also chose who would deliver it to its master." "Wait!" Tahu exclaimed. "At the stadium, there was a sign. The mask threw all its light upon one Matoran." He pointed. "Jollar, he must be the herald of the 7th Toa." But I didn't," Jollar stammered. He turned to Takua. "Tell them the truth," he whispered urgently. "Say something!" Takua knew what his friend wanted. To tell the crowd that it had been Takua, not Jollar, who had found the mask. But Takua wasn't about to take responsibility for this. Who knew how he would manage to mess up such an important quest? No, this was a job for someone responsible, someone mature, someone like Jollar. Takua raised his koli stick. "Hail Jollar!" he cried. "Herald of the 7th Toa! All hail Jollar!" The crowd joined in with enthusiasm. "Hail Jollar!" Vakama pointed his fire staff at Jollar. "Captain of the guard," he called. "Approach." Jollar had no choice. He started toward the group of Turaga, then paused just long enough to grab Takua. Vakama held the Mask of Light out to Jollar. "It seems the mask has chosen you," he said solemnly. "Will you seek the 7th Toa?" Jollar glanced at Takua, who refused to meet his eye. I will," Jollar said, "and Takua has volunteered to join me." As the crowd thinned out, the Toa gathered on the wall above the Suva. "A 7th Toa?" Tahu said, sounding puzzled. "But why now? All the Makuta's threats have been defeated." Pahatu nodded. The 6 of them had battled a series of enemies sent by Makuta, but all had fallen before the power of the Toa. The island was peaceful, with no threat in sight. Why would a 7th Toa be needed now? "Who could fathom the wisdom of Mata Nui?" Pahatu mused aloud. "I am simply happy to take good news to the north." "Will you travel with Gali?" Tahu asked, glancing around for the Toa of water. But Gali was nowhere in sight. Pahatu smiled. "No," he said. "She has gone to ponder her great thoughts." Gali sat at the edge of the Amaya Circle, the sacred storytelling area that was part of the island's main temple, the Kini Nui. "What can it mean?" she wondered. "How can it be? A 7th Toa? It's nothing any of us ever imagined." At that moment, a constellation caught her eye. 6 stars gleamed brightly, overpowering the light of the weaker stars around them. Suddenly, a new point of light, even brighter than the rest, sailed through the constellation. Gali gasped. "A 7th star." End of chapter 5.